You're going to have to talk a little bit about this whole Belt and Road Initiative and how Italy decided to join this whole thing in the first place.
So a lot of people are attributing this to politics, to the election cycle, to the fact that, Meloni, the President Meloni, is more right-wing. So they're saying, look, it's a big success for that. We're going to push that aside.
Okay.
Today we're talking about actually what happened, right? And I think this is a 30-second clip that'll explain things pretty well.
Okay, is it in English?
Yes.
Okay.
Italy has officially told China it is leaving the Belt and Road Initiative. That's according to government sources on Wednesday. Italy became the first and so far the only major Western nation to join the trade and investment program, ignoring warnings from the United States that it might allow China to take control of sensitive and vital infrastructure. However, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni said when she took office last year that she wanted to withdraw from the deal. She said it had brought no significant gains to Italy. The 2019 accord expires in March 2024. An Italian government source said Rome would not be renewing the pact. China's Foreign Ministry's spokesperson Wang Wenbin told reporters on Thursday that the Belt...
Pause that for a second. Who is that? Oh, that's right.
Just had to put it in there.
Continue. Sorry to break up the news.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, what did he have to say other than...
For those of you that understand, Wang Wenbin, for some reason, and we don't get it either.
Sure.
But somebody in our chat during a live show said he sounds like the gurgling of a water cooler.
Going glug, glug, glug.
And some people started making memes out of it. Anyway, we laughed for like 5 minutes.
Yes.
Because somehow it makes sense.
Makes sense.
Wang Wenbin here sounds like a water cooler being emptied of its water.
Glug, glug, glug. Just saying the things China wants to hear. What? And then suddenly he starts questioning China and he's now the enemy. What?
And so it became a ritualized thing.
Yeah.
So now that you're all caught up.
Let's move on. What did he have to say other than this? Okay, let's see.
Belt and Road has enormous appeal and global influence without singling out Italy for criticism.
China firmly opposes smearing and undermining cooperation in...
Lugs. That's what is masking.
Yes.
The English voice is masking.
Yeah, it's masking that.
developing the Belt and Road Initiative and opposes confrontation and creating division among the camps.
You know what's weird is actually all I heard was something else.
Oh, what were you hearing this?
Yeah, that's all I heard.
Yeah, anyway, let's carry on.
More than 100 countries have signed agreements with China to cooperate on Belt and Road Initiative since it was launched in 2013.
Okay, so this is a trend that is, I'm going to say, it's kind of like putting a Band-Aid on a wound that started. Now, if you don't know, the Belt and Road Initiative, like you said prior, if you're just tuning in, is this idea that China can spend trillions of dollars around the world and gain influence in those countries. It's basically a clever way to counterfeit or wash the idea that you're colonizing a country.
Yeah.
Right. China has this whole thing about how it was colonized, and rightfully so, how it was taken advantage of by other countries, right? Japan, Western powers, right? But they can't use that same kind of ideology to continue to do that to other countries. So they say, hey, what we'll do is we'll invest in your country. We're going to import our own workers.
Yes, exactly.
Everything that we promise you, you're not going to achieve. A lot of the projects that we start won't finish. And then when we don't finish that, you're still going to owe us a ton of money. And when you can't pay that, we get your ports.
Exactly. And then
It's
we'll make a board game about it too.
Yes, which we covered last time,
Yeah.
a couple shows ago.
Yeah.
So what you have to understand is that this was smiled upon in the beginning as some sort of new idea, right? Forget all of the, the international funds and the U.S., leading the world in charitable donations to other countries and helping with these things, right? China won the PR battle on that one, and China's image kind of improved internationally when the Belt and Road started.
Yeah.
We saw it cracks right in the beginning in places like Sri Lanka and things like this, right? Some of the African countries. Italy was already knee-deep in this bizarre cooperation that really bucked the trend of the Western alliances that we have, right? The EU, the US, NATO, all of these organizations were looking at a member state that's glaringly in opposition to what they have agreed upon, which is don't let China near critical infrastructure.
Yep.
They have proven to have stolen trillions of dollars in intellectual property.
Mm-hmm.
They have nefarious intent with their military.
Yep.
They're threatening sovereign nations like Taiwan.
Mm-hmm.
They have expanded across the South China Sea. They've shown all of the things that we've worried about in the past with countries like the Soviet Union. That's happening now.
Sure.
So let's not cooperate on a very, very high level, maybe only economically.
Sure.
Right? Italy said, no, we'll do whatever we want. Get out of our way. Italy can't stagnate any more than it already has. Right? Huge
Yeah,
brain
at least the
drain
trains
there.
are on time.
And that's not true.
No, it's not true.
A little close to home with the current leadership
I
over
know.
there.
Exactly.
Anyway, by the way, if you've never Googled Mussolini's, what's that picture? With all
where's CCC?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like his
Look up-
headquarters.
look up Mussolini's headquarters. It is the craziest,
looks like from a
evil
Bond movie
thing.
or something, yeah.
It's like a cartoon.
It
It's
is.
so evil.
It's like Batman's nemesis or something.
Anyway,
Yeah.
cutting to the chase, Italy bucked the system. They said, no, we're going to cooperate. They cooperated so much
Mm-hmm.
that they actually brought in Chinese police and had cooperative police forces.
Yeah,
I
they
believe the
do
Fuzhou
patrols.
Police. Yeah, the Fuzhou police.
Yeah, they patrol around. It was under the guise of helping Chinese tourists.
Yes.
As usual.
And that's how these things start.
Yeah.
Moving on, they stopped that in 2022,
Mm-hmm.
right? But they started in like 2016 or something.
Right.
Kind of during this whole hubbub when everyone's talking about this BRI stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also, turned out, and this is damning for Italy and the EU in general, but you can read this.
Okay, Italy is home to the largest number of unofficial Chinese police stations globally, a report by a Spanish human rights group said. Safeguard Defender said Monday that it had identified 48 more stations, 11 of which are in Italy, with others located in Croatia, Serbia, Romania, among other countries. We remember the whole controversy when this came to light, that China operates these illegal overseas police stations that are used to intimidate and to cause all sorts of woes for Chinese diaspora abroad and anyone who criticizes the
anyone.
Chinese government.
Yeah.
So they have these illegal police stations, a physical presence in all these countries where they have people working there. They can send people out to harass or to
At least
do bad
monitor.
things and monitor people around that country.
It's real bad, and you got to always keep in mind that Italy was the
That
Western...
11.
Yeah.
Probably
It
more.
Was the Western face of Chinese influence in the West.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was
Yeah.
real bad. So...
Well, I mean, just think about it for a minute. If you've got a Chinese police station in Italy,
Yeah.
it's so easy to get into the rest of Europe from Italy.
Yeah, it's an EU...
So it's like-
an open border.
It's like a command center for the whole of Europe. They can
That's
just
why
send
the
them
EU
out.
wasn't chill with this.
No,
right?
no.
But you understand, like when Italy bucked the system and allowed all this and said, yeah, we'll do the BRI because our economy sucks. Yeah, we'll allow this police cooperation. Yeah, we'll let all the educational institutes join at the hip. Yeah, we'll allow all of these interactions at a very high level and sacrifice the national security of our entire continent, right?
Yeah.
You understand that people were concerned, and that definitely had at least something to do with the next election, right?
Yeah.
So you have Meloni that she comes in here and she's popular and unpopular on both sides. She's a polarizing figure, but she says at least part of her campaign is that we're not going to allow this anymore, right?
Yeah.
And that's absolutely something I can agree with her on. This is something that shouldn't have been allowed from the get-go.
Yeah.
It was alarm bells across the entire Western world.
Yep. Why did they you know why they let it happen? Because they watched this video.
And it definitely was this. Now, it's a segue into this. You understand why China cares so much about this Belt and Road Initiative is because China has so many internal issues
Yes.
and so many economic problems that the only way to really offload those things is to expand your territory and resources into other countries, right?
Yeah.
So they tried for the past 6-7 years to just pound us and everybody around the world with propaganda about how good the Belt and Road Initiative is. And one of the most popular pieces of propaganda was this music video that they put out.
Which, by the way, the audio. State media can never get audio right.
This was supposed to be a big budget thing.
This is.
And listen to the audio.
Listen to the audio for the beginning. Don't worry, it gets better. But the fact that they left this bad audio
Yeah.
in camera audio. Anyway.
This is a classic.
Yeah, let's take a quick look.
You ever heard of the Belt and Road?
Yeah, the big vision of economic change.
No, what exactly there?
And that is along the Old Sea
There.
Road, and the road is the Sea Road on the sea.
Oh, I see. In Chinese, is that
Really good audio, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
What's with the truck horn?
I don't know.
This is a catchy song.
Oh yeah.
Like they got people from all around the world.
Oh yeah. See?
Anyway, it's just a big propaganda piece with this grooving band.
Well, when
about how
the Belt and Road reaches Europe, Europe's red wine is delivered.
I did a whole parody / breakdown of this on my channel years ago.
So they're talking about Italy there, because Europe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's
probably
like-
France's red wine.
Yeah,
Could
but
be Italy too.
But they're not Belt and Road.
They are not. You're right. Definitely talking about Italy.
Yeah, absolutely, because
You're
that's the only
right.
Europe Belt and Road
You're
thing.
right.
So look at them.
Barrow, you mean?
Yeah, Bell Road. Yeah, Bell Road. Let's take a look at some Bell Road over here. Oh, you finished it. You
Yeah,
didn't
I
let
did.
it play out.
We're not playing the entire song.
Oh man, but
We've
it's so
covered
catchy.
this probably a
it's
million
so
times.
catchy. It's not like 2 sessions, you know. This one is catchy.
I think 2 Sessions
It's better.
is way
It's
more
way better,
fun than
yeah.
this. I don't think this song is that funny. I think it sucks.
It's terrible. Anyway, we showed that to you for a purpose, okay?
Yes.
The fact that the Chinese government is releasing rap music videos about the Belt and Road Initiative.
rap rock
Yeah.
or whatever.
Whatever that
was.
nonsense was.
Groovin'.
The huge amount of propaganda that they've been putting out about this Belt and Road for years and years and years shows you how important this big initiative is to the Chinese government, right?
Yes.
So what have you got up here? Is this a Belt and Road Initiative over
Yes. I just wanted to show a couple things and then I'll read off some stuff.
here? Okay.
You know, there's Belt and Road Initiative projects in 100+ countries.
Sure.
And a lot of them, and this goes, it's funny, it's so funny, and I should have included this. But it's so underreported because China has mastered the art of SEO, which is search engine optimization. What they do is they populate the search results with all of their own state media stuff. And something needs to be done about
Dude,
this.
it's so bad that when you search, like, what was it, genocide of Native Americans?
Yeah.
The first thing that pops up is a Chinese
least it
state
was.
media article about, like, how America genocided all of its Native Americans.
As counter propaganda to the Uyghur genocide.
Yes.
It's insane. That
Yeah.
was the first result for Americans.
Yes, for Americans. What the hell?
So they've mastered search engine optimization.
Yeah.
So when you look it up, it's insane how underreported the failures of the Belt and Road are.
Yeah.
You'll get articles that talk about it, but when you want to search for media and examples, they have successfully suppressed so much information about this. What I've noticed is that when you look this up, there was an article that came up, a state media article. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
It said, the Belt and Road Initiative This is from like China Daily or something.
Yeah.
It said the Belt and Road Initiative failures are widely represented, but its successes are underrepresented. They called the article that.
Yeah.
Which is like what they're trying to do, basically.
exactly.
Like the reverse psychology.
I mean, you have to think about it this way. The countries where it's failing terribly,
Yeah.
they owe China billions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
So when you owe somebody billions of dollars, you're probably not going to go out there and badmouth them because you're in debt to
Why
them.
would you?
Yeah, you're in debt to them, right? So you wouldn't.
No.
So, I mean, look, the truth is out there. It's pretty easy to find out. You just need to look at the Belt and Road Initiatives, the countries that have signed up.
Yeah.
Take a look at the infrastructure projects. Did they get completed on time? You know, is the country defaulting on the loans? What controversy is going around? You always find out that there's a corrupt politician who's being ousted now because he agreed to this stuff.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
It's gotten so bad that a lot of these countries, for example, Sri Lanka,
Yeah.
Chad, Ethiopia, Zambia,
Yeah.
they have to restructure negotiations to the point where, do you remember when I was talking about how there's already initiatives and funds in place from developed countries that help these countries out with real effort with checks and balances?
Yeah.
And then China gets all the good PR because they do things fast, but they do it terribly.
Yes.
But they get the PR first, and nobody pays attention to the article anymore. It's kind of like
Sure.
the world we live in where like people will read a headline, they didn't learn anything, and that's their opinion from now on.
Yeah.
The China's taking advantage of this attention deficit culture where they put out, well, we've just invested $1 billion in Chad,
Yeah.
right? And then they'll be like, oh, that's really cool. China's doing great. And they don't read through it, and then they don't follow up on it. It falls apart. Chad renegotiates and has to go to the IMF, which is the International Monetary Fund, and ask for help, which was already the fund that was in place for this type of thing.
Yeah.
So China brings in its own workers,
And steals from the
takes
IMF as
advantage,
well.
takes from the IMF, and takes resources from the host country.
Yes.
Doesn't contribute to the economy, doesn't finish the project,
Yeah.
potentially defaults on it. That country is left in ruins
Yeah.
in that sector.
Yep.
And then that country has to go back to the IMF to ask for help.
Yep.
You see how this doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work. It's just absolute disaster. It's basically like a big rape. You know, it's what it is. China's
Of the earth.
just yeah, exactly, raping these countries.
Yeah.
And the systems that are in place. It's horrible to see it unfold in front of your eyes, and it's horrible to see gullible people falling for this.
Yeah.
Anyway, you've got a graph. What is this?
We just look at this. The value of the BRI projects is supposed to have been exponentially higher each year, and it's gotten so bad right now
Yeah.
that China now, at least even the leader, has said that kind of had to restructure how they talk about it, how it's a challenge now, right? And you're looking at it. You're supposed to see this exponential growth because it's this thing that's supposed to grow exponentially. That's the whole point of growing your influence in these countries, and it's completely stagnated. In fact, in 2022, it was down from 2021. In 2023, we'll find out the results at the end of the year. That is not the trajectory you want to see on your biggest ambition in the world.
Sure.
Right? There's another one here which shows the new BRI projects. You were seeing them just skyrocket. Usually around like 2017 is in my memory, but it's 2016 where all these new projects were just these countries are getting hammered with them.
Sure.
Italy was jumping on board at that year, right? And we've watched it just dwindle year on year over and over again.
Yeah.
And they are not gaining the influence that they once had hoped for. Now, I'm not saying that countries aren't going to keep joining.
Sure.
I'm not saying that this is a complete dismal failure to the point where they're going to pull the plug tomorrow, because it's too big to fail.
Right.
It's too much of the economy. It's too much. There's too much on the line. But I will say that I think China has to look in the mirror and say, this is not what we originally set out to do. Like the goals have not been achieved. And we need to probably stop hemorrhaging all of these resources, because unless they're getting like 2 times return on their investment in whatever resources they're taking from that country, this is not going to be worth it.
Sure.
Right.
At the end of the day.
These
Well, I
countries
think-
will fall out of favor.
Yeah, I think what's happening here is countries are, in the beginning, they were promised something.
Yeah.
And it sounded good.
Yeah.
But now there are enough examples out there to show that it doesn't work.
Yes.
And that it's actually
Yes.
foolish to go ahead and join the BRI and
Yes.
to start these projects simply because you're starting to see, hey, it failed here, it failed there. And this country lost its deep water port. That country lost its airport. That country now has lost all its mining rights. That
Yeah.
kind of thing. And you're like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't join.
I think you're right. I think this has very poor
Optics.
short. It's poor optics, but it's also has poor short-term results in getting people to change their mind. But long-term, no one's going to look at the BRI as a success story.
No.
And I think a lot of countries will learn from that. I think this is really pushing more countries into the Western fold again. I think it's backfiring.
Yeah, well, let's see where that all ends up, eh?
Yeah. Well, Italy was a huge blow because Italy was the poster child because it was the only Western ally that was in the BRI. Right?
Yeah. What is she doing?
What is that?
Get out of here. No, you get out of here. It's like Tweedledee and Tweedledum. When I see this, I feel so depressed.
I feel horrible. Chickens living in a van.
Stupid chicken doesn't go over that stupid pole. What's wrong with a stupid
He
chicken?
can't get over the
No,
pole.
he's like,
he
what?
can literally
He
fly
just-
and jump.
They're like, no, I cannot cross this magical pole.
Oh, and here's the mascot of the amusement park, Gilly Man.
Gilly, man.
I
Lots of
personally
tatty.
like the Peppa Pig guns. That's what I like.
Peppa Pig hunting rifle.
Hunting
Yeah.
and murder
Yeah.
with Peppa Pig.
I know, it's just so wrong.
Close my eyes, I can almost see it. When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind